Welcome to Biorhythms, where the John Knox Tower is located in beautiful Ghent. My next guest is someone that I have great respect for because he keeps me laughing whenever I see him, Mr. Cletus Cassidy.
And that could be taken as an insult. Are you saying I'm funny looking, or that's just a? Let me get to my professional sitting stance. I'm not used to doing these. I'm more of a stand-up guy, so you know.
Sit down.
This is throwing me off a little bit.
So it's just a matter of changing your body posture and doing the same stick that you do.
That's it.
Man, I'm so glad to have you on the show.
Man, I'm happy to be here, Terrence. Man,
we've known each other for a few years.
At least a decade, probably.
Yeah.
Probably about a decade. I've worked with you professionally, not doing stand-up. Not saying that you couldn't, but I did the side and six. I did the side and six for you.
Right.
I did the fifth.
The fifth.
I did another play, but you know, he fired me, and we moved on.
And you went on,
and we moved
went on to comedy,
and
right?
We moved on, right.
So how did you get involved in comedy?
Comedy is one of those things. I don't know if everybody has that, but for me, it's one of those things that you kind of end up with. Some people are born to do something, and so once you're in that grain, you don't even really make a conscious effort. To keep doing
feel
it.
That this is your
this is just me.
Destiny.
This is me. Anybody who knows me from growing up or elementary, high school, has been around me for a long time. They'll tell you, like, man, they just got you on stage paying you to be yourself, and I'm like, exactly. So it's really cool, man. I don't do a whole lot of writing.
This is all
a lot of stuff, man. One of the things people really enjoy is that if I do a 30-minute set, man, maybe the first 15 minutes is me walking in the room, kind of noticing what's going on in the room, and we'll talk about that for a while.
Well, we're going to show some of your stuff.
That'll be fantastic. That'll be fantastic.
Now, you're originally from Portsmouth.
I was born in Colorado Springs, Colorado, which makes me a huge Denver Bronco fan. My family and I moved.
You remain a Denver Bronco fan?
I am still a very huge.
Now, how old were you when you moved?
We moved out of there at the age of 3, which actually brought the.
But you couldn't get that Denver Bronco out of your blood.
No, it wasn't. Matter of fact, the year I was born, we went to the Super Bowl, lost to the Cowboys. That was the big Orange Crush year. So it's just with me. So we moved from Colorado. The black population of Colorado took a big hit once the 3 of us moved over here.
Right.
But from that point, man, been in the nation's capital, Portsmouth, Virginia, and just living it up.
Well, I remember back when I was living in the nation's capital, Portsmouth had a different kind of reputation.
Yeah, it did. It still has that same reputation, but we're trying to fight through it.
Right.
We're trying to fight through it, literally. Sometimes we shoot through it. This depends on what side you're on.
What motivates you to do what it is that you do? I know you feel like it's your destiny, but is there something about your environment, about your culture?
Well, I talk a lot of. I actually do a lot of stuff about my real life and real life situations. There's a lot of the comedy that I do. It's amazing how things happen to me that continue to fuel that. So I don't know if that's God's kind of. Sometimes I'd be like, hey, look,
is God giving you material?
Yeah, give me a little less inspiration. Of course, being a parent, so you got to feed your kids. Right. So that inspires me because they eat every day.
Right.
No matter how I try to get them on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday playing, it doesn't work out. But one of the things that's honestly, man, Terrence, is kind of funny. That
no pun intended.
Right. Once I started doing this, people kind of reach out to me and tell me how the comedy has an effect on them, and how my comedy has an effect on them.
How's that?
Period. I know at one point in time, man, I'm on Facebook all the time. People ask me, do I do anything other than Facebook? But I've had people contact me via Facebook like, look, my mom died this week. And the only reason I really made it through this whole week was because I would read your statuses or read something that you posted, and it made me laugh or made me smile. I've done shows for cancer patients, some recovering, so like people literally leaving chemo, and they would come into the show, and it's amazing when they come to you after the show and be like, man, I've been hurting for whatever period of time, so it was great for me to be able to have this 45 minutes where all I could do is just kind of laugh, and it took the pain away.
No, you're not necessarily aware that they're in the audience. Or
no, this was an actual
stage.
This show I did. There was a cancer survivors group, and it was one of the ladies was like, "Look, we just want to do something different," and we always have people come in and speak, motivational speakers, things of that nature. She said, let's just try something different. And so I went out and did that, and it was the survivors, it was the family of the survivors, it was a lot of people there, it was an amazing experience. One of my favorite ones.
How did you feel when they asked you about doing that? Because you had not done that kind of thing before.
Yeah, that's not something. Now, one thing about me is I had this whole let's do it. Sometimes people say that I was born the wrong race. Because most of the time black people are a little bit on the let's hold off side. White people are like, let's do it. Yeah. But they called me, asked me to do it, and I was like, let's do it. And so then afterwards I was like, man, what did I sign up for? Right. And so it was a little bit of a trepidation. It was one of the most nervous times that I've had as far as stand up is concerned, man, because it was just that important. But it was a fantastic, man, one of my most rewarding experiences.
How was the room?
Oh man, the room in the beginning didn't really know what to expect. Right. Yeah, it's kind of like they don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. So we're all there. We're at this like odd impasse. Right. And from that point, man. But once I got started, man, everybody was in. We had a ball.
Fantastic.
We had a ball.
How large was the room? How many people?
I think that may have been between 50 to 100 people. Mm-hmm. So not a large group, but.
Okay, we need to take a little bit of a break now.
You got a restroom?
Back, yeah, I need to go to the restroom.
Yeah, well, once you hit 50, man.
50?
Once you hit 50.
I wish it was just
3
50.
times an hour. Yeah.
But we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to talk a lot more about where you find your material.
No problem.
We'll be right back. Biorhythms is brought to you by KRT LLC, providing full-service tank cleaning, painting, fire watch, and shipboard maintenance for marine, industrial, government, and commercial businesses. The KRT website is www.k-r-tllc.com, and you can call them at 757-228-3452. KRT LLC, your leading provider in quality shipboard solutions.
So crazy was our particular church, we had different rules. They said you can't join the praise and worship team unless you can sing in tongues. I said, well, this is going to be difficult for me because I can't even speak in tongues. To the audition, we had ministry trials, so I went to the audition, and I went, and the words were all written in tongues, so I didn't really understand them. But how many of y'all know the Lord will always leave you a ham in the bush? Is that wrong? Well, I'm in new members class. Y'all got to work with me. Y'all got to give me credit for trying. So I went and I looked at the words. I couldn't read the words. So I said to myself, self, you got to sing whatever the Lord gives you. And he gave me a song, and I was just there, and I was like,
Welcome back. That was a pretty hilarious clip.
Man, I do what I can, man. I do what I can.
So tell me something. What would you say is your most memorable experience?
Most memorable on stage moment.
You would probably say that they're all memorable.
I wouldn't lie and say that because I've forgotten about some shows that I've done. But what is most memorable for me is being able to control the room. And I'll tell you what probably one of my most memorable moments was. I integrate music in a lot of my sets. And again, people who can't are always experts on something. So since I can't sing, I do a lot of music sets. And the ability to me, one of the songs that I do, I teach it to the audience. And
that sounds familiar.
And to be outside of it and watching is so amazing because people come to see comedy. They come to see comedy. They come to laugh. They don't want to be involved outside of their laughter. That's all that they paid to do was come in and laugh. So the ability to take an audience and have them sing something back to you that you wrote and just kind of listen, I was kind of in awe of it. I'll never forget. I was just like, man, they are singing my song.
Can you give me a little bit of what that song is?
It's a parody of it's a song parody of Marvin Sapp's Praise Him in Advance. Oh no, yeah. It's a parody of Marvin Sapp's Praise Him in Advance. and it's called Snacks Are My Enemy. And
Snacks Are My Enemy.
yeah, it's got a long setup, man, about what you go through with snacks, and it just goes. I've had zebra cakes, I've had fudge rounds, marshmallow pies, yellow and brown, assorted cakes by Sara Lee. Don't you know food's my enemy? And then everyone sings it, and it's great because people just kind of get over to laughing, and then they sing it like everybody learns it. It's got a big crescendo at the end. It's a lot of fun.
You must have run across some people that are singing their song who feel that they are
a lot of people,
incredible singers.
Well, I've done it quite a few ways, man. I actually have singers. I have now background singers, which is amazing because comedians never have background singers. But I do have 3 awesome vocalists: Slater Joel, Karen Poole, and Rhonda Thompson. And we'll sing it like a real song, and I have them doing solos, and it's crazy how it works out. It's crazy.
Man, I have to come and see. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the things that I really enjoy is that it's never really the same. I really try to do that. I try to do different stuff. Because so many people go to comedy shows and they know what they expect. They know I'm going to come in, I'm going to sit there, he's going to tell some jokes, then we're going to go home. So I try to make it an experience more than just you coming to a show, especially when it's something that I can do a whole show on. I remember I was running Virginia Beach Funny Bone. They were allowing me to do a quarterly show on Sunday evenings. And I always ran a theme. And like one of the themes was actually the musical. So instead of me doing any jokes, per se, I did all parodies. So it was a musical. So just different, being able to do different things. I've had a poetry battle with a local guy.
Battle.
Yeah, it's a guy named Godchild. Who's local, and Godchild's a phenomenal. Yes. He's a phenomenal poet, yeah. And he and I had a poetry battle. We did a poetry slam. And I had another poet one time, a guy named Jermaine Lewis, and Jermaine's delivery is very, very fast. Okay. And I was the interpreter, so he would actually say the poem, and I would interpret what he was saying, but it was comedic. So we always try to do different things.
When you mentioned that Jermaine had a very fast delivery, it makes me want to talk about the importance of timing in terms of delivery. Talk to me about timing.
It's the key to comedy. The key to comedy is always the delivery. I have seen some people with some fantastic material. The concepts are fantastic. The premise is great, even the punchline. But they just don't know how to deliver it. I've seen some people who have had stuff that is just not funny at all. But it's just the way that they say it and their timing with it, which makes it hilarious. So that's one of the key elements to being a comedian. And I actually do pay some credence to acting, which helps me with that, with dramatic acting, all of it, because it's taught me a lot as far as what to do on stage. Because I've done some television stuff before, and even I remember with you, we were doing the Side and Six, yes. And we were recording it as far a film. Uh-huh. And one of the things that really got on my nerves about recording for television and movies, especially way back in the early days of the 90s and the 2000s, is when you did everything with one camera. Right. And so you did it and you stopped, and then you did it again and you stopped, and you did it again and you stopped, and that really got on my nerves. But what I loved about the stage was that you had one shot to get it right. Like either you got it right here, or you're not gonna get that shot again. Right. And that taught you a specific timing, especially when you had to work with other people. Uh-huh. So I take that same kind of that same knowledge and work that in on with my comedy, knowing that I got one shot to get this joke right. So either you get the timing down or you lost it. So I try to make sure I get my timing down. But it's the most important part, man. Even sometimes outside of your material, because some people have material that's just not funny, but they can deliver it in a way, just the way they deliver, just the way they sound. Like, just for example, I'm not saying that Kevin isn't funny, because Kevin is hilarious to me, but Kevin Hart can come on stage a lot of times and just say anything, and it's just the way that he said it. Right. And you're just laughing, and you kind of realize, like, it really wasn't funny, but it was how he said it. So that's important. And physical attitude and posture and all. I'm not a big physical comic. it's funny because I know because you're well versed in all things that have anything to do with a stage. If it happens on a stage, you know how it's supposed to work.
Well, I'm not that knowledgeable.
We all know you are, but we appreciate your humility.
Okay.
But I'm not a physical. There's the different types of comedy. You have prop comedy, you have physical comedy.
Right.
I'm not a big physical comic. So if you come to my show, you don't need to expect me to be doing backflips and splits and rolling all over the floor.
Well, that I would like to see.
I'm sure people would like to see.
We can take a break right now. Maybe when we come back, we can.
I still won't be in the shape to do them.
We'll be right back. So, this has been quite an extraordinary year for you.
Big year.
Yeah, tell us about some of the things. You
2014, man, been a fantastic year. 6 national TV appearances on Roland Martin, on News One Now with Roland Martin. So that's been fantastic. That's a whirlwind. It's just like doing this show. So it's the same thing,
right,
except it's live television and there's millions of people watching. Not saying that there's not going to be millions watching yours, and millions of dollars spent. Right, yeah. But we're right there. Our budget is right underneath that.
I was trying to keep that under wraps.
Yeah, but I let it go. We can tell.
I did that pretty well, though.
We can tell. So that was fantastic. I won McDonald's Gospel Fest, which is a nationwide contest that they had. So I won that for the category comedian. I think we were just kind of looking over, man, at least 100 dates I've done this year. I was on a comedy tour. We did 3 states, 12 shows.
Who was on
it was a clean and quality comedy tour. It was myself, myself, Quincy Carr, Petey Ray Red, and Vernard Hines. We did that. This year I opened for nationally acclaimed comedians D.L. Hughley and Mike Epps. So I worked with both Hughley and Epps this year.
You've been very busy.
Yeah. 2015 is turning out pretty good. I'll start the year, actually, January 3rd. I'll have my own nationally syndicated radio show. So I'll be on...
I found that exciting.
It's going to be on the Rejoice Network. So I'll immediately be on 41 stations throughout the country. So I'll be just invading...
Man, I'm so proud of you, brother.
Yeah, invading people's homes. And we're going to be trying to spread it. I mean, of course, it'll be on demand on the website and things of that nature. So that's great. We've already started booking for 2015, so I've got stuff booked all the way into June.
Tell
already.
Me, clean and comedy. What is it? Clean.
The Clean and Quality comedy tour. Yeah, so, that was a tour that we did.
But the inference there is that you don't.
Well, I don't cuss. None of my shows, all of my shows are clean shows.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's pretty.
And so, a large base of my shows, 90%. I can give you almost a breakdown. Is 90, maybe 98 and 2. I do about 90% churches, about 8% corporate functions. I'm getting ready to do Chick-fil-A's corporate something soon. Yeah. So I'm doing
corporate thing?
No, a couple of private owners.
Okay.
They are private owners.
Okay.
So doing stuff for Chick-fil-A. So 8% will be corporate events, and then the other 2% will be comedy clubs. I don't do a whole lot of comedy clubs. I'm kind of outside of. I'm doing it the reverse way.
Well, we're doing clean and quality comedy. How do you handle hecklers?
And see, here's the thing about me and hecklers. I don't have a huge problem with hecklers. Because I refuse to let anybody else be a part of my show. I'm selfish in that way. I'm an only child with one brother. So I tell people off the top, man, you're not getting my time.
Right.
And what you do when you start realizing as a veteran, you realize if it's a heckler, you cut them off quick, and then you keep on with your show.
Can you give us an example of what you would say to a heckler?
It would just depend. It's a depend. What I usually do. What I usually do is kind of just let them know, look, there's always one in every crowd, somebody who needs that attention. We've given it to you. Now we're going to move on, all right? I don't know if you left your helmet at the door when you came in, but if you did, this is your opportunity to get up and go get it, and nobody will say anything to you. But you shut them down quick, and then you get right back to where you were. But you never really sit there because you lose
Uh-huh.
if you sit there and you keep going back and forth with them. So you get in, you
Right.
cut them down, and you move on.
Tell me something. How can folks get in touch with you? Keep touch with what you're
Man,
doing?
as long as they don't call me, everything. No, because I got a reverse phone plan. My days are free, but my nights and weekends I gotta pay for. No, my website is www. If I have to tell you, it starts with www. You probably shouldn't be on the computer, right? So that's for my mom and her
You're
crowd.
old school,
But it's cletuscomedy.com, CLETUS comedy.com. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All of those are Cletus Comedy. It's branding. It's branding. My email is cletuscomedy@gmail.com. I'm also part of the Clean Comedy Link. You can go to that, cleancomedylink.com. It's 5 comics. We all do clean comedy, from 2 from Virginia and 3 from New York, New Jersey. We all had the same manager, Miss Joanne Pringle.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Joanne Pringle, I know that name.
It's the chip. You just think about the chip.
No, I know that name. How important is it for you to do clean comedy?
Man, it's extremely important, and I tell you why. Most people think I had some kind of come to Jesus moment. That's why I do clean comedy. I wasn't riding on a donkey and knocked off and the sun glared or things of that nature. I always did my comedy as if my mom and my grandma were there. And even now, my grandmother's deceased, and I'm still afraid that she'll beat me. So I never got on stage and was cussing. I didn't want anybody to go back and be like, we know you saw your grandboy, and he was on that stage cussing. So I always just started doing clean comedy. That's where I started. And then because so much of my comedy is about my life, 98% of my under 18 years was spent in church. At one point, we lived in the church. At least I thought we did. So because we were there all the time.
Right.
So I ended up doing a lot of churches. But what I thought was important was that if we were going to do clean comedy, since it's so far out of the norm, that it had to be good, and people had to be able to come in and enjoy it. Sure. And so that's what that's where I am.
But there is not a coalition, but there's a bunch of you. There's
now there is now. It never really was at first. Like it was just me. Like 3 other people, Jonathan Slocum, probably John Gray, just a few people, but it's really growing now. And one of my mentors is a guy named Akintunde, who is a comedian out of Columbia, South Carolina, who actually is not from Africa. We don't know where the Akintunde came from, but that's what his mama named him. And but he has told me that one of his goals is, and I've worked with him, I did a special for him last year called A Very Funny Christmas. So that was another TV credit. But anyway, one of the things that he said is that we can change the culture of comedy, and in order to do that, we have to be clean and we have to be just as good as those who cuss. And I'm not taking away from anybody that cusses.
Sure.
A lot of people make a lot of money for using cuss words, and I've wrestled with God many a day and be like, man, if you could just let me cuss for 6 months and get this Kevin Hart money, I'll go back. But if you want to change it, you have to go in and be as good as they are with what you're doing. So that's one of the things that we're doing.
I want to thank you, buddy, for coming on and
man, I want to thank you for having me. I have not been on Cox 11, so this is a groundbreaking moment for me.
That's a groundbreaking moment for us to have you on board, and I really, truly appreciate it. And I'm sure that all of our viewers are going to go to your Facebook page.
Hey, both of y'all go. No, all the viewers go. All the viewers go. I'm not. Listen, I was joking. I know it's 3 of you. No.
There are only 2, but they're big enough for 5 or 6.
Well, you know what? Hey, leave bit people alone. They got strange breathing habits.
Thank you for coming on to the show.
No problem, Terrence. You just assaulted me.
And thank you for joining us. This has been a memorable show. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.